Hi there, welcome to my channel Malakita Stitches. This video is for people who are brand new to doing cross stitch kits, which are stamped kits. So if you've ordered a kit and you've opened it and taken it out of the packet and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what on earth is this? What am I supposed to do with this? You wouldn't be alone. I can promise you, I was there a few years ago when I ordered my own first stamped kit as well. The good news is it really doesn't take long to figure out what to do, and I'm going to show you just very quickly. This video will not be long, and I'll show you how easy it is to do them. They look confusing, probably because of, you look at, I've got one here prepped and ready to go. The symbols throw you off. I think sometimes when people look at that, they think, whoa, it's just a big jumble of different things. What on earth am I supposed to do? Another thing that throws people off, because it threw me off as well, is you get your chart, you get this, I'll show you what you get in the kit. So you get your, basically a booklet or just one big piece of paper which is folded up, and it's got basically the chart. You get your thread cards with all the thread. And this here is just a sticker. I actually found out a thought, because you can tell by the backing, it's a sticker, so you could stick it up on the wall or stick it somewhere. We'll put that out of the way for now. And you get, if it's a big massive kit, you'll get spare thread. Obviously if it's just a small kit, most of them will fit on your thread cards. So here for this I have, it goes numbers, it goes from 1 up to 18 here, and then from 19 up to 36. And then we have a smaller one here. It goes from 37 to 45, and then 46 to 49. So there's 49 different colours of thread in this. I've picked this kit to do this demonstration because I absolutely love this picture. I've wanted to get it for a long time and I've got it now. So yeah, the second reason why me and a lot of people, me to start with, got confused is because you get a key at the beginning of the chart like this and you think, what am I supposed to do with that? So I'll show you. It's very, very easy. So first of all, get it all set up in a frame. If you want to see how I go about doing that, I've got another video up in my beginner's cross stitch videos to show you how to do that. It's actually quite easy. You just need to find a way to get it all rolled up if it's a giant kit. It might be a small stamped kit you've got, in which case it's much easier to handle. Put it on a frame if that's how you're going to do it. So what you get in the chart, it's worthwhile spending time to show you this because it's really important. You have, well, basically at the very back here with these booklet ones, again it'll be different if it's just a big one like a poster style that's folded up, but here you'll have all the different pages. So page 1 will be this part here, page 2 will be this part here, page 24 will be this part here in the corner. So the bit that I've got is the very top right hand corner. I have that on my frame. So that is going to be page 6. It might go down to page 12, 11 and 5, I'm not sure. But either way, I'm going to be looking for page 6. And in your booklet, it's quite good because it's in colours and it actually tells you across the top the stitches. So page 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 across, all the way up to the end. And the same going down the side, 10, 20, 30. So if you wanted to use that as a tool to help guide you, that would be something that you could use. So let's check again. I think it was page 6 that I'm looking for. And it tells you I'll just look for it. There we go. Page 6. So it's written that way, so it must be this way. So it's this way around. And basically, if you were to compare this, the symbols here, now they're a different colour, and this again is something that throws people. So if you look, I'll just zoom in here. The very first one, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's basically a yellow background with a red diagonal cross on it, or a red X on a yellow background, and then it's kind of surrounded by red squares right up in the very top right hand corner. When you look at this chart here, it's nothing like that. that throws a lot of people off. If you look at the chart, the yellow background with a red X, you can't see that very clearly, but you can see it's definitely different colours. So it's one colour of blue with an equals sign surrounded by something else. The reason why that's different is they want to try and make the colours all stand out from each other on the stamped Aida, and it's so that when you're surrounding it with other stitches you can still find them and pick them out. They don't do that the same colour as the actual thread. This chart here is done in the actual colour of the threads that you're going to be putting in each little square, in each stitch. So we can verify that. So that is a light blue background with an equal sign. I'm just checking this myself here. Surrounded by, it's like a forward arrow on a darker blue. So what you do is you go to the front here. Now you do have this down the side of the Aida, however I can't see that because it's all rolled up, and most people will have it rolled up. So use this key at the front, and I'm looking down here. So on this key you have the numbers 1 to 49 on the left hand side, which corresponds to the number of thread on the card. So that's what that number is. You can just ignore the number on the right hand side, the DMC number. The reason why they put that in is because that's the DMC number of thread. So for anyone who's only really ever worked with kits, if you're kitting things up yourself, or if you've ever done a bit of embroidery, each colour is a specific, it's assigned a number, and DMC is a brand, it's one of the most famous brands of thread, embroidery thread, and they use like a standard numbering system to number all of the colours of thread, because as you can see there's hundreds. There isn't 3,865. They skip a lot of numbers out in between, but they do start off at 01, and there's hundreds of them either way. So you can just ignore that for the purposes of doing this chart, the DMC number, but it is there to allow you, if you've run out of thread, most kits do have enough thread in them. I've only ever finished one stamped kit and there was enough thread, and I've never really heard people in the online communities on Facebook groups and things saying that they run out of thread. Most people do have a decent amount of extra thread at the end, as long as you're careful and you don't waste what you're doing. But if for any chance you did run out, you could contact the seller and tell them I've run out of thread, please can you send me more? You might not hear back from them, and if you don't, you can use this DMC number. If I run out of like black, that's the most common colour of thread that people use, 310 is the DMC number. I could go and just buy quite cheaply one skein of thread in that colour, that exact colour, to finish it off. So, but just ignore that for the purposes of getting started. You just need to know the number on the left hand side, and these numbers all correspond to the numbers on here. So number 1 on here, now remember we said before that these symbols in this booklet, if I go back to my page 6, which is the bit I'm going to be starting on, these colours on here, they all, doesn't matter what the symbol is, but they all correspond to the colour of thread that you are going to be using. So I know that when I'm looking in the key at the front to find what number of thread I need to find, that one right up in the corner, well, it's basically two colours of light blue. The one in the very corner is an equal sign, and the other one is like a wee kind of forward facing arrow. So I'm looking for blue. And here we have in our chart, you can see this is all the symbols. And they're all, you can just quickly zoom to, so I'm not going to look at that green one because I know it's definitely not that. I'm going to zoom my eyes down to find the blue equal sign. And I can see here that that is 43, and that little /1 on the blue background is 47. So I'm looking for 43 and 47 on this thread card. So let's have a look for them, and you'll see that they all match up. 43, whoops, they do get a bit tangled, so you have to be careful. So there we don't have much, but obviously we've got spare thread. So 43, and you can see that's a light blue, and 40, it was 47, wasn't it? There we go. That's another kind of light blue colour. So that confirms that what you're doing is right. You're just checking the colours. So if I had picked, for example, let's pick a different colour just to reinforce that. I want to do something in the tree down here. So we'll maybe pick one of these green, dark green ones, because I think it looks from the shapes of what's going on there, it looks like that could be part of the tree. So I don't know how I would find that on here, to be honest. But either way, right, hope I haven't thrown anyone off track by doing that. But basically, you find whichever colour you want to do here, and the symbol should be here now. Yep, you're going to need the chart for this one because that's a red X. Now we don't have a red. These are the types of things. I'm glad this happened here because in my head I was thinking, hang on a minute, what about the red X? This is what throws people off, and this is what people find confusing because you're thinking, hang on a minute, without actually using this booklet, I don't know what's going on here because that is a red X. There is not a red X in the key here. If you look carefully, you will not see a yellow background, that was the very first top corner one, with a red X like that. This is why you need the booklet, and this throws people off. So you really have to use your booklet, and you can see which stitch comes next. So you saw there that I had to turn to the booklet and see what it was on here, and by using that, I can go onto here and find the colour that I need to pull, and I can put that on. You need this booklet for this type of chart. There are other types of charts that, in fact, I'm actually going to get an example to show you right now, where the symbol on here exactly matches what you've got in your chart that comes with it, and that makes it a lot easier. But for these ones here, these booklet ones, because I have got a couple of these that come with a booklet, you really do need your chart because these colours on here are completely different. The good thing about these ones, now I'll tell you, this is a really serious point here. If you get one that comes with a booklet like that, where that symbol in the booklet it's not the same as the one on here, these usually stand out. They usually contrast really well to each other. So you've got yellow squares next to red squares, yellow squares next to white background squares. They contrast quite well. And I'm going to bring you across a chart that I've started doing, which is the other way, where the symbols on here exactly match the symbols in the chart. So you can just go straight to the key in those ones and pull out this red. But they don't contrast as much, and it's much more difficult to find what you're looking for. So just give me 2 seconds. And this one here is a perfect example. So this is one that I've already started. You'll probably see some videos in the channel of this one that's been started. And if you look, this is the chart that comes with a key. So it's good to show you a couple of different examples of stamped kits and how they all work. And I'm going to actually get the stamped kit to show you. And here it is. So this is another one. You can see that I've got this. I'll just sit this into the frame. So this one here, this is a big section here, and it's in yellow that I've been doing. And that actually is the exact same. You can see that's all yellow. That's all yellow. And if I was to hold this up, which I'll try and do, yellow now, going down here, you'll see a couple of symbols. You'll basically see from the colours that they all kind of match up. So we have a big line next to the yellow. Can you see that there? Of white background with a red slash on it. And then coming down here, we've got, that is basically, you can't really see it very well, but it's kind of a green cross on a white background. And you can see that here. So these symbols do match. This is a different type of kit from a different manufacturer. And when I go to my key, I can quite easily find there's a yellow, there is a white background with a red slash, and there is a white background with a green cross. So this, if you get a kit where the symbols on the chart match the symbols on the stamped kit, it is easier to do and you'll understand exactly what you're doing. Sometimes they can be a bit difficult to distinguish. Okay, this one's actually relatively okay, but I do have another chart. It's one of lotus flowers, and you can see, and I've actually pointed that out in one of my videos, you can see that I'm quite disappointed that some of the colours and some of the symbols are very close to each other. We have like kind of orangey colours next to reddy colours, and it's difficult to see. This one's actually a relatively good example of a good one. But it makes it more difficult for some of them. So that's two different types of examples of stamp kits. And again, this is one where the numbers, so that number 23, sometimes it is actually stamped on the Aida. You can see this here actually. If you look very closely, you'll see numbers in here, which again, that's one of the things that you look at these things for the first time, you think, what on earth is that? And you'll probably find that if I was to look up, and I'll do it just now, 29, it will be like that blue colour. And 23 will be one of the other ones. So if we go to that one there, colour 29 is, well, that's the lighter blue colour. And 23, oh, they were both 29. Excuse me. I thought one of them was a 23. I thought the one on the right hand side was a 23, but it's not. They're both 29. So that whole bit there, 29, is this one here. And if I go up to that page, you'll see that it all matches. It's all in that area at the very top there. So these symbols, sometimes they do have numbers. You'll see like a 13 right in the middle with a 45 above it. These numbers, all they are is these numbers here. It's the colour of thread. I think it was supposed to make it easier because you could go, oh yeah, that's just number 29, so I'll go and get 29, but it's not very clear on here, you know, which symbol that's for. So I would just ignore these numbers. There have been, you do get them on the other types of kit as well. You can see some numbers on here. Just, my best piece of advice is just ignore them. Just compare, always be comparing basically your chart with the key, and on the key all down the left hand side it always tells you which number of thread you have to pull. So that's basically the two different types of stamped kit that you're going to get. The ones which this here, these symbols match the colour of thread that you're actually putting on, and that's different to what's stamped on here. And it is quite helpful to, because you can see here, like there's the house, you can actually see what part of the picture it is you're doing, so you can think, right, I'm going to be doing the window now. The disadvantage to that is you can't just look at this and go, I want that particular symbol. Where is it here? I can't find it anywhere. This is a load of rubbish. I did that the first time I got one. This is a load of rubbish. The symbols on here are not in here. What am I going to do? That's the wee trick. You just use this booklet to compare to where you are on there, and you can use that to find the colours. The advantage to this type, and again it's almost like a disadvantage in a way, but these symbols, like we've just been saying, exactly match your chart, exactly match the key here, but they don't really give you any indication of the actual picture, because you can see the picture. It's a wee kitten. So, how do I get this? A wee kitten, that's the picture. So that definitely doesn't have any bearing on this or this. It makes it kind of more difficult to work out where you are on the picture in a way. So there's advantages and disadvantages. You can kind of guess that that's the bouquet. And the chart here, you can guess just by holding it quite out. That's the bouquet and that'll be the vase. Whereas on here, it's very clear whereabout in the picture you actually are, especially if you're doing a big, giant one. Something like this is actually probably more useful because it's such a big, massive thing. You want to actually be able to see whereabout you are on this big massive canvas, whereas with a smaller one, this is more or less the whole size of this. That's the right hand edge, that's the left hand edge, and there's just a little bit underneath here that's missing off of here, so it doesn't make it such a big deal. So there we go, that's just a kind of summary of how to do them. So we've covered how to work out which symbols match up with what on the chart, and how to work out how to use the chart or the symbols to take the number of threads, and then it's just from there you're just basically going straight onto it. So you'll pull whatever colour of thread. If it's number 38, you'll take one out here, get stitching away with it, and that's basically it. That's how to work out what to do with one of these kits. They're actually quite enjoyable. I've said this before on lots of my videos. It's actually quite relaxing to just pick a colour and go with it. You might think, okay, what's the point in having to use a chart? I mean, that's come into my head before, and I'm sure it's come into other people who do these heads. What's the point? You know, you're supposed to be able to use it without a chart. That's what everyone says. I'm going to get a stamped one. I should just be able to just get the number, start sewing it. But there is a massive, massive advantage to this, is that you don't have to count, because once you know which colour you're doing, like number 4, that's right in the middle of this little bit here, whatever, you take your colour threads out and you just pick all of that symbol. You just pick all of that symbol on here and sew it in. You do not have to count. Whereas if this was a blank piece of Aida, you're going to have to use your chart and count along. You know, you could have a stitch up here, 3 or 4 down here, 5 or 6 stitches down here, and a big section down here in that colour. Then you're taking your next colour and, you know, like that. So you're actually having to count where to put the stitches. With these stamped kits, you don't. It takes away all of that. You know that if you pick whatever symbol you pick, you just look for the next one, stitch it in. It saves so much energy. These ones are not, in my opinion, they don't turn out as nice as one of the counted kits from one of the big designers, which look a lot more artistic. In my opinion, because I'm always very honest in my videos, these stamped kits, a lot of the time, I wouldn't say it's because of the fact that these are bigger, 11 count or 14 counts. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the production of the charts. The reason why I'm saying that, the pixelation I'm talking about, the reason why I'm saying that is because some of the, well, all of the big designers who put a lot of time and effort into making their charts, the ones where you buy the charts individually and then make up your own kit, or you can usually get a kit as well from the designers. You can do them on any count that you want. So for instance, the Heaven and Earth designed ones that I use for some of my other projects, you can do it on a 25 count, which is the really small, tiny little stitches, or you could do it on an 11 count. You'll see lots of examples out there of people who do them on, you know, these bigger squares, the 11 count, and the chart looks exactly the same. The picture turns out exactly the same, but a lot bigger, because each individual stitch is a lot bigger. So it's going to turn out bigger, but they've put so much thought and time and effort into the actual chart that it's just designed not to be pixelated. Whereas with these, and you'll see, not just myself, but other people on YouTube videos, that they do actually turn out a bit pixelated quite a lot of the time, just because the quality of the chart is not always the best quality. We have to be honest about that here. If you're going to put a lot of work in to doing something like this, like I'll literally spend months and months, and even maybe over a year, maybe even 2 years, if you're doing it in between lots of other things, you want something nice at the end of it. I will say, I don't actually think they're that bad, the end result, because I have seen lots of examples, including one that I finished myself. It's not turned out that bad. Yeah, it is a bit more pixelated. It's not really that bad. And I've enjoyed the process quite a lot because I've not had to count. I've just been able to sit there after a hard day's work, just put my slippers on, have a hot chocolate, relax, and do something nice relaxing like this. I know that makes me sound really old, but I think we've all got that bit deep down inside where we just want to just do something nice and relaxing. You don't have to count. So they're the advantages and disadvantages. I would still recommend doing this because it's an enjoyable hobby. So I hope that's been useful to you. If it has, please give this video a like. And also, if you want to see more videos about cross-stitch in general, how-to videos for beginners, reviews about different cross-stitch things, or some of the Stitch With Me videos that I do sometimes, please subscribe to the channel, because it's always really good to have new subscribers. It lets me see what people are interested in and what people are not interested in. Please feel free to leave any comments that you want about it, just tell me what you're thinking. Do you agree with what I've said? Do you not agree with what I've said? Or have you got any more, better suggestions about ways to explain things? Because, there might be other ways to explain things. There might be other types of stamp kits out there that do things again slightly differently that I've never came across. So I would love to hear about them as well. So yeah, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you again the next time. Bye.